Hey, what's up, my people? How you doing? My name is Dalton, and this is my channel, Dalton My World. Now, today is going to be an interesting one. Some of y'all been asking me about this, and this video is going to be about dating apps, okay, and my experience in the past, okay. And if you notice, I got these on, right? Nope, those are not from Apple. Those are from Family Dollar. They work pretty good though. You can get them for about $10. They work pretty good. First pair I've ever had that was don't have a string on them. But anyway, on to the story. Okay, and this is going to be about my experience with one particular app that I use and site, and it's real popular, and it's called POV, which is called Plenty of Fish, right? This is not only going to be a story about me using an app, it's also, and you know, the good and bad of it, also about horror stories, the horror, uh, you know, situations that came from me using the app. Now, I don't put down dating apps, okay, because I've had friends that used them and it worked great for them. Okay, they know how to maneuver them and all that stuff, and I'm just not one. And I really like to just talk to the person and meet the person in person and not over, an app or something like that. And one of my friends, she did make a point. My friend Stephanie, she made a point. She said that the best sites, if you're gonna use them, is the ones you have to pay for. Okay, and let me give you an example. If you go to a club and it's free entry and free beer, okay, yeah, that club may be packed, but and eventually probably go out of business. But you're about to deal with anybody and everybody that can come in there. Okay, sociopaths, psychopaths, game players, everything. Sure, there are gonna be good people coming in there, but anything and everything that's allowed to come in, that kind of narrows your chances of something good, really. And same thing with apps that are free, okay, or websites that are free that you're going to meet people on. If you can't afford it, you want to get one that you actually pay for, okay, because people don't want to lose their money, and when people are paying money, they're serious about what they're looking for. A lot more. I mean, you're always going to get game players and all that other stuff, okay? But more and more serious about what you're looking for. So, anyway, on with the story. So, it was about 3 years ago. Yep, about maybe 3.5 years ago. I was, I was messing around with a lot of different things, trying to meet people, even the phone. I remember when I lived in Seattle, I did the phone, call those numbers, meet people like that. But this is about Plenty of Fish, okay? And I was using that app. Now, the good part about Plenty of Fish, that really did help me. If you just be straight up with people and let them know you want some information and talk to people on some information about a state or city that you're thinking about moving into, and ask if anyone lives around that area, could you contact, you get some really good information about where you move into, the area and stuff like that, because people already live there, okay? And I'm telling you, it works. It's great, but you have to let them know straight up, you ain't looking to date, you're just looking for information, okay? So I got on the app, and one time I got on that. One time somebody did catfish me. Yeah, they did. Okay, and I caught on to it, right? And these people are good, man. I don't know if there's groups to train them, and these people are really that get out there and they use these apps. That a lot of them, like one person I met, they have books that they studied on behaviorism. Okay, so they know how to manipulate your behavior. Understanding behaviorism isn't bad, but when someone uses it so they can manipulate and use people, then it becomes bad. Okay, like anything. And this one time, this person was like really trying to get into me, and apparently I wasn't moving fast enough, so they were like, "Oh, you don't really care," they were chatting. I'm like, "Yeah, I care," and they were, and then once they felt like they got me, they had me hooked. All of a sudden, they had an emergency where they needed some money. Yep, you got it. All right, and you can't even really believe the photos you see on when people show you, because they can rip off anybody's photos, stock photos, or anybody's photos on the internet, and pretend is what you want. Especially since they can look at your profile and see what you're looking for, what you're interested in, what type of women, what type of hair, what color, eyes, and all that. Yeah. All they do is look at that and pick a picture out of nowhere and just say, "Oh yeah, boom," you know. And they do try to use a lot of models' photos too. And that's one instance they try to catfish me, right? Oh yeah, and then all of a sudden there's an emergency. They need money, and they. Oh, you there? Yeah. And one time, I actually met someone. I'm gonna call her Lady L. Her name begins with a L, and I'm just gonna say L as in lunatic. And I should have followed my intuition. My mind said, "No, this is not good, right?" And they know how to. She knew how to reel me in. She reeled me in, and she ended up living in my state, and I lived in Texas at the time. And that began 2 years of horror. Okay, 2 years, and people think that even today, people think, "Oh, dog, you just up and left." No, and and she thought I just up and left. No, 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 no. It took me at least a year and a half to get everything in place and get my energy up to leave. It may have seemed like I just up and left. No, 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 no. It was building up to that point. Okay, because anything and she was an expert at manipulation, trying to figure out. Well, no matter how bizarre it sounds, trying to figure out really what you wanted to hear, and to use that and say, "Oh, I am special. Thank you." You see that too. I am special. Oh, okay. You can help me, man. I went through so much money. Um, I used so much money on her. I got played. I got played, man. And and I just thank God that it was just, she was chaos. Okay, and one thing that got me is she always like, "Oh, I don't like chaos." Well, I'm gonna tell you, she drew it. Chaos was drawn to her. Probably still is today. Okay, and what get me too is that I actually met this person, and and she was Mexican, she was Latin, and you hear that song "Big Button to Smile, Beware People." That big button to smile. That's what, and I just ignored my instincts. But anytime I came up with something that I was like, this may not work, and we were just friends, but it was a weird, deep, intricate type of relationship. That you could say, yeah, we were friends. We never had sex. Never kissed her or any of that. Nevertheless, it was really deep on other aspects. Okay, it was like we were in a relationship when it came to emotionally, mentally, spiritually, everything except for physical. Okay, and I'm not gonna go in detail, people, but it was you can't imagine what I went through and what I had to deal with, and I'm, and that I remember breaking off from her about a year and a half ago, and getting out of her energy and away from her when I moved here to Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. When I moved here, It took everything. I mean, she has so much control and she can manipulate people so well to even spy on me. And I mean, and it's like she had no boundaries of what she would do to get someone to do what she wanted. Okay? No boundaries. And and man, I'm telling you, that was a year and a half ago, and you hear the saying, "Once bitten, twice shy." That's not just a saying. That's real, people. That's real. And oh yeah, she was a Taurus. Man, she was nice. She was actually on the cusp. She was like a Taurus Gemini. So it was like, if you deal with Gemini, you're dealing with multiple personalities, and if you deal with a Taurus, okay. So it was insane. Okay, and she was all into magic too. You know, uh, not in the most positive way. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, I was glad to get out of their relationship in one piece because she drew chaos. Okay, she hurt the whole environment chaos. Okay, and it's like even one time she had me thinking that maybe she was my, if you believe in that stuff, soulmate. Okay, because something, this card reader, I went to this card reader, and something this card reader told me that was actually, she suggested me go to her, told me to look for in a soulmate, and then she was like, look, I have that too, like a birthmark or something. You get what I'm saying? I have that. Wow. I can see you, man. Man. And when I say a quick study, she had books on behaviorism, so she'll understand how to get into people's minds, manipulate them to do what I'm telling you. Okay? Yeah. So, I am, and I don't care anybody. I mean, she was straight up sociopath, man. Uh, that's not just my words. Trust me, she was a sociopath. I'm just glad I got out of a relationship through the grace of God, my faith, and needing, because also I knew no matter how much I progressed, living in the same state as her, she could get anybody, man or woman, she was bi, to do whatever she wanted through manipulation or other means. Okay, so it was like, I was just glad to get out of there. Okay. Today I'm a different person. I'm stronger, and that shit wouldn't work with me. Okay. But that was my experience of penny fish, and I had no idea what I was getting into. Okay. And but so you have to be careful, people. Now, I've had associates and friends that had really, really good experience from using websites and certain apps, okay, and long-term relationships. It's just it's not for everybody. It's not for me, but you just have to maneuver and you have to be super careful, okay? Okay? Because anybody could say anything. Anybody could, oh, I even had this one guy. Yes, I said God. He kept messaging me because he was like, look, I know you're on a straight site, because see, when I deal with women, one of my qualifications, they have to be straight. I don't deal with women that are BiCurious, bisexual, all that shit. I don't know. They have to be a woman, they have to be straight. That's it. I just don't blur that line. And I broke up with a woman I had a long-term relationship with. I found out she was lying to me, and Because at first she told me she wasn't bisexual. Then I found out she was having a relationship for 6 months with a woman. I had no idea. So, yeah. That was the beginning and end of that relationship. But I had some guy literally message me. He was sincere. Look, I know I read your profile and I seen your pictures and I know you're a nice person and I know you're looking for someone, a straight woman, but if you're in any way, shape, or form curious or bi-curious, and because you can, I think even to some point you can even at this point you could say something and they can hear your voice. So I guess my voice is deeper than I think it is, and it attracts people, men and women. And he was have a very sexy sounding voice, and I just really would like to, if you're curious or bi-curious, hit me up, and we can keep it on download. Now I'm like, what? Nope, no, thank you. And I remember when I lived in Seattle, I used this phone app. That phone number you call and you try to hook up with people and talk to them and get to know them and all this sort of stuff. And yeah, it costs you a lot of money. And I remember I was used to message this girl about all the time. We would get on there and I'll talk to her all the time. And I just one time this guy messaged me. And he was like, "Look, look, I know you're here for women, but I'm not gay. But I love the sound of your voice, and he said, and I'm into watching black men, especially sexy sounding black men, have sex with my wife who is white." And he goes, "And I will videotape it." He said, "But I will not videotape it if you don't want to. But if you're interested, if you have anything that you..." this really happened. "If you have any requirements, let me know, because I'm really, really attracted to your voice, and I really, really want it, And it'll be a safe environment, all sort of stuff." And he wanted me to have, and it's not the first time. When I lived in Seattle, I had experience, man. This woman coming on to me, I was like, "Oh, this is my lucky day, man. This phone is fine." And she come on to me, started talking to me, and then to the point where she was about to reel me in. You know how you exchange numbers and stuff. All of a sudden, her husband came behind her and hugged her and winked at me, and I was like, "Nope, I'm out." Anyway, that's my experience with Penny or Fish. And if y'all on those dating apps, be careful out there. I mean, they can work for you if you know how to maneuver them. I'm just not that patient. That's just not my thing. But if you're all out there, be careful. Make sure you know 100% who you're dealing with. Okay? And I'll wrap to y'all later. Peace.